Attention! Attention!
Hey, Fred! You got this tonight, right?
What do you mean? It's not even dinner time yet.
Well, it's Valentine's Day, baby. I gotta be with the missus.
You have a wife? You own a strip club.
Hey, I like to refer to this establishment as an adult entertainment center.
Okay, whatever. Adult entertainment center. But you're not really gonna leave me alone here on Valentine's Day, right?
I'm sorry, Fred, but I gotta do this. I know you don't know what having a wife is like, but I'm sure you're gonna learn at some point.
The hell did you just say to me? You better take that shit back right now.
Come on, Fred. You're working at the quote-unquote strip club at your own discretion. I don't know a single woman that's looking for a guy like that.
Yeah? And how did you manage? You're not exactly the diamond in the rough you claim to be.
Hey, whoa. That's no way to talk to your boss. I'd say, watch your tone.
You started it by degrading me.
Yeah, and what are you gonna do about it?
Someone's feeling manly tonight, huh? Alright, well, come on then. Let's bring this outside.
The following message is being transmitted at the request of civil authorities within the city of Atlanta, Georgia. A local area emergency has been issued for the Five Points subdivision in downtown Atlanta. At around 5:35 local time, a violent altercation was reported to be underway at the Wolves Gentlemen's Club in Five Points. While it has not been confirmed, few reports claimed that gunshots were heard at the scene. While this cannot be confirmed as of this time, it is still worth avoiding the area. Law enforcement are currently en route to the scene. Residents within the Five Points area are being asked to remain away from the Wolves Gentlemen's Club for at least the next 2 hours. Thank you for your cooperation. Repeating, a local area emergency has been issued for the Five Points subdivision in downtown Atlanta. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the Atlanta Police Department. A law enforcement warning has been issued for the Five Points subdivision in downtown Atlanta. Law enforcement is currently engaged in a dangerous situation at the Wolves Gentlemen's Club in downtown Atlanta. As of now, there is little to no official information on the situation. But from what is known, Atlanta Police Department operatives are currently working to apprehend a shooter at the Wolves Gentlemen's Club. It is unknown how many casualties and injuries have occurred as of this time. All residents within a 5-block radius of the Wolves Gentlemen's Club are being urged to shelter in place. Remain indoors, and lock all doors, windows, and other entrances to your home. Do not leave your shelter until an all-clear message is given. Local news stations will provide further information on this situation as it develops. Repeating, a law enforcement warning has been issued for the Five Points subdivision in downtown Atlanta. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the Mayor of Atlanta. A shelter-in-place warning has been issued for the city of Atlanta, active immediately and until further notice. Over the past 45 minutes, a mass shooting situation has been underway at the Wolves Gentlemen's Club in the Five Points subdivision of Atlanta. The magnitude of this attack is currently unknown. However, law enforcement have reported hearing dozens of gunshots from within the Wolves Gentlemen's Club. Anyone in downtown Atlanta are being urged to remain indoors and stay off the streets. Support from other local police departments are currently en route to the scene to assist in getting a handle on the situation. All residents within the city of Atlanta are being urged to shelter in place until this situation has been resolved. To shelter in place, lock all doors, windows, and other entrances to your home or shelter. Close all windows and blinds, and remain indoors, away from windows. Local news stations will continue to provide further information on this situation as it develops.
Hello everyone, my name is James Bold, lead news anchor and meteorologist for First Coast Weather and News. We have no time to delay tonight, as an active mass shooting situation has unfolded within the city of Atlanta. While this is technically usually out of our range of local coverage, we have many friends and colleagues who live up in Georgia. So we wanted to ensure that people around here on the first coast of Florida and Georgia are aware of the situation. At around 5:40 p.m., gunshots were reported outside the Wolves Gentlemen's Club in downtown Atlanta. It is currently believed that the shooter is actually an employee of the club itself. Nobody knows what the man's motive is, or how many people he has killed. Police have been in a near constant standoff for almost an hour now. Unfortunately, that is all of the new information we have at this time. However, I do have one more thing to share. I actually received this video from a friend. They're an Atlanta native, and were actually close to the scene when the violence broke out. No video will be shown, however we will play the audio from this recording. Oh my lord. What the hell is going on in this country? I hope most of the people in the building were able to make it out all right, but I can't be sure. For now, we're going to take an intermission, and we will be back on the air as more information on this catastrophic event becomes available.
The following message is being transmitted at the request of the Mayor of Atlanta, and in conjunction with the Atlanta Police Department. At 6:42 p.m. local time, law enforcement managed to kill the man who was staging a mass shooting at the Wolves Gentlemen's Club in 5 Points, Atlanta. Investigation is ongoing into this situation, however, all previous emergency alert messages have been lifted. This is an all-clear message. Residents may now come out of their shelters, but are being asked to remain away from the scene of the shooting for the time being. While exact numbers are unknown, law enforcement officials have claimed that there are dozens of injuries at the scene of the shooting. Local news stations will continue to provide further information on this situation as it develops. Thank you for your cooperation, it has been greatly appreciated.
Good evening, Atlanta. My name is Luke Stewart, and right now we have breaking news coming out of 5 Points. The Atlanta Police Department has issued a statement regarding the shooting at the Wolves Gentlemen Club in 5 Points, which is in downtown Atlanta. According to law enforcement, as of 10:30 p.m., there were 15 confirmed fatalities with 37 injuries reported so far. In addition to that, at least 5 of those people are in critical condition. To speak now on the mass shooting in Atlanta, we have our guest speaker, Joe Barret. Thank you for coming to speak with us tonight, Mayor. I know this must be difficult for you.
Well, Luke, it definitely has been a difficult evening for everyone in Atlanta, especially for the victims of the heinous shooting at the Wolves. I don't understand what could bring someone to do something like this, on Valentine's Day of all days. It's supposed to be a day about love and togetherness, and one man tried to tear it apart. In these difficult times, we must come together.
That was very compelling, Mr. Barrett. With all due respect, what plans do you have to curb gun violence in Atlanta?
Are you really asking me this after the biggest mass shooting in our state's history?
Yes, I am. Gun deaths occur all the time in Atlanta, and this is just a culmination of it. We don't want another situation like this to happen again.
Excuse me, sir, but I find it highly inappropriate to discuss this right after a tragedy.
Well, when can we?
Good morning everyone, my name is James Bold, lead news anchor and meteorologist for First Coast Weather and News. Today, we're going to get right to the story of the mass shooting that devastated the city of Atlanta last night. As of this morning, a total of 41 people have died, with at least 20 still remaining in medical custody. Though thankfully, no more people seem to be in intensive care. The mayor of Atlanta gave a statement last night that personally, I find to be appalling. Excuse me for getting political, but when will this cycle of violence end in America? Before anyone gets jumpy, I am not saying the solution is to outright ban guns. I do believe that citizens should have the right to own a firearm for self-defense. That's not to say I encourage you to hoard 80 long-range semi-automatic rifles, like some, let's call them gun nuts do. There's beauty in moderation, nothing wrong with owning a handgun or a shotgun for home defense. But after the past few years, it's become very clear that America has a problem with guns. Sandy Hook, Mandalay Bay, Parkland, Pulse nightclub, and many more. Week after week, month after month, we repeat this cycle. A mentally unstable man decides to take his anger with the world out on innocent people. What can we do to stop this? While I do think gun legislation could be a valuable resource in curbing gun violence, it is a multi-pronged issue. And we are going to talk about it. Because no matter what anybody says, it is important to have these difficult discussions. Thoughts and prayers will only get us so far. So, what could we possibly do to help curb gun violence? Well, there have been many proposals. Longer mandatory waiting periods, closing legal loopholes, crack down on illegal internet sales, better psychiatric treatment overall, and careful pre-evaluation of first-time gun owners. All of these are great suggestions, and I believe they're worth looking into more. But we need to try something. People do not want to admit America has a problem with gun violence, because that would make us flawed. But I don't see a problem with acknowledging our flaws. Almost every major and minor country on the planet have their own social or quality of life issues. But that does not inherently make a country bad. They are simply problems we need to work out together. But regardless, something needs to be done. I don't have an answer for what will end this cycle, but we need to start trying. How many more innocent people are going to die before we decide we've had enough of this? How far does it have to go? Personally, I don't see anything changing until politicians and their families become victims of one of these shootings. I hope that never happens, but you can bet your ass that would get the people in Congress up and running. I apologize for the tirade, but sometimes the state of our world sickens me. But that does not mean it cannot change. People who are willing to speak out against the common narrative, renegades who are not afraid to face the repercussions that may come with trying to make a better world. Genuine, meaningful change often requires you to take risks, and sometimes requires sacrifices to be made. That's what we need more of in this world. So next time you hear somebody tell you there's nothing we can do to pull ourselves out of this hole, ignore them. Don't let the hopeless bring you down. Look out for your friends and family, and spread the love. Who knows, maybe with a little bit more care and compassion in the world, these types of events could happen less. Thank you for joining me today. We'll be back after this commercial break.